Hi, Star, can you hear me okay? Doesn't look like you've got your microphone out. There we go.
Okay, there we
There
go.
you go. I can hear you. Excellent.
Okay, great. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, good. I'm great. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. So, firstly, thank you so much for purchasing my gig on Fiverr. It's very much appreciated. I hope that I can help you with your business venture, which, reading through the notes that you sent over, seems very interesting. So, I'm all ears to hear more about it. So, usually the way I kick off these kind of sessions is just to give you a little bit of an idea of how it will go and what you kind of expect. So obviously all of this is done through video calls, and they are recorded. You can probably see that up in the corner right now that it's recording, and I know you have purchased a copy of the recordings too. So with the recordings, what will happen is once we've done, once it's finished doing its computery thing, I will then upload that to YouTube, but it'll be private so no one else can see it, and then I will share you a link. So it normally takes an hour or so for YouTube to do its thing, and then I'll share a link with you afterwards. Okay. And for each of our 4 sessions, I'll do the same thing. Okay. So also with the gig, because you purchased it on Fiverr, so it won't be closed out and marked as delivered until our very last session. And if the dates that you book, ideally they should be within 28 days. But if it goes over that, then we'll extend the timeline and the delivery date for it, just to cover that off. Okay. this really is a session for you to tell me all about your business, and then for us to kind of brainstorm and come up with strategies and different ways of coping with certain things. I have supporting workbooks as well, which, you know, I might recommend to you to go away and do a bit of homework, and then we can kind of come back and review those
Okay.
together. I do take notes throughout, so if you hear me hammering away on the keyboard, you know, I'm not responding to an email or something. I'm just taking a few
Got you.
just so I can, you know, follow up on our next session.
No
So
problem.
that's from me. Normally, again, I'd just like to give you an opportunity to kind of tell me about your business and about what you're kind of struggling with, and then we can kind of take it from there. So I'll hand over to you.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so where I'm at right now, let me just kind of start there. I came up with this idea actually the beginning of this year, January. So I kind of started putting it into action, jotting down things, kind of making it more, putting it, into action, like I said, in March, and kind of just build it from there. So while I was building it, I was kind of unsure of like exactly what I wanted to do, because of course it was an idea and I'm just building it from there. But the little bit that I did build, as I told people about it, like, oh my God, that's amazing. Oh, I have such and such that needs this. And I'm like, wait, I'm not even, done. So I did actually take on a couple of clients before I even finished
Wow.
building. Yeah, I did take on a couple of clients. It wasn't for the full program that I've completed now, because a lot of things have changed between now and then. However, but it was a great experience. It kind of taught me a lot of like what I want to do, what I don't want to do in it. So that I did learn a lot from that. However, I'm at a point now where I'm ready to just put everything together and actually launch. So I have completely built out the program. I have a little bit more content that I need to put into it, as far as some like different strategies and things for mindset development, because I wanted to offer that in my program as well. And let me tell you a little bit about my program. So it's about, it's to assist music artists, independent music artists, with getting exposure. Exposure that you can't get unless you know someone that knows someone that knows someone. And I got into this business because my brother is actually a rapper, and I saw the struggles that he was going through and how hard it was for him to actually get out there. And I just started studying like music artists and going into Facebook groups, doing my homework, seeing like what they're struggling with, what's not working, things like that. And I came across a lot of different avenues, because I have like a business mindset. So when I see things, I look everything. I look at it from a business standpoint, and I'm like, okay, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I can just tell people, I can just look at something and tell people, you need to be approaching, if you're doing music independently, you need to be approaching it like a business. If you want to make this a career and you want to make a living. If you're doing it as a hobby, then great, just keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to make money, which most everyone does, you gotta treat it like a business, like a small business. So that's like my expertise as far as like business development, and have lots of sales experience and just how to build businesses. But it's like with this, it was so like, I literally created my own micro niche. So it was kind of hard for me to put it together, because no one's actually offering what I'm offering. It's a little bit of PR, it's a little bit of this and that, and it's just all put together. So I created this micro niche, and that's where I was kind of struggling with, where do I fit here? So let me tell you about what I'm doing. So basically, I know a lot of people. I have a lot of different connections. I live here in LA, and a lot of my connections aren't in LA. But by me being in LA, I come across so many people and I meet so many people. So I've made a lot of connections that I can actually introduce music artists to, as far as like getting their music on mainstream, like BET, MTV, VH1, all of these things, where there's submission services out here that you just submit your music to, you pay to submit it, and about 90% of the time you don't get it aired. But I have a guaranteed connection through the back door that I can literally hand over the video after I've made sure it's completed, the guidelines, et cetera, which I have. So I will make sure they pass the guidelines in order to get it on, aired on TV. So a lot of people don't have that connection. And I was like, I want to offer that to music artists, and like with my brother, and help them. And I also have a lady, and she's really dear to my heart. She's actually in the UK. She has a radio show that is actually syndicated and on like 3,600 different radio stations.
Wow.
And I've partnered with her, and she has agreed to, once my music artists have their singles done, mixed and mastered, she will air it on her show. And that show is on FM, commercial radio, college radio, DAB, kind of like satellite TV, satellite radio, just a whole bunch of different radio stations all over the world. So it's international, which is amazing exposure for the artist. So I kind of put this program together to kind of help, along with vocal coaching. I do have a vocal coach who's amazing also, to help artists actually be professional and have really good content before releasing it. Because I saw like a lot of music artists were just recording and just throwing it out there like, go to SoundCloud, go check me out here. And it's just like, how are you going to sell music if you're giving it away and you're posting it and you're spamming people's inbox who don't care anything about your music, instead of targeting the direct market of people that want to hear? So I kind of put all that into a bundle of like education / mindset development, which I think is so important for music artists. Oh my God, so important.
Well, it's that transition, isn't it, from hobbyist to business person, because that's effectively what they're creating, and they're creating a brand as well, around. And I've come across many artists, in different fields, and I remember there was one tattoo artist that I was talking to, and he was amazing. He was incredible. And we were talking about branding, and he was like, I want to call my website something. And I was like, but it's already your name. Your name is your brand. And
right.
He said to me, he went, but my name is Polish, and I think that would put people off. And I said, no, it makes you unique. It makes
you who you are.
Embrace that and use that as the power of your brand. And he did. And actually, he got far more uptake from that. Anyone can make up a random name. But you're an artist. It's all about that connection.
And that authenticity.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think so. I think that's so important. He was quite a young chap as well. And actually, I think it's really important to make sure that the especially the youngsters that kind of coming out of colleges and things, and they've got these skills, and they found their voice, or they found their skills in bands, or whatever it might be. That that level of education of how would you get out in this world, like you rightly say, without giving all for free, and how to monetize that. I think that's a very interesting business model.
Yeah. And then also in that package deal, like, it's branding, it's helping, basically becoming a professional recording artist from the ground up. Because there's a lot of people out there like, oh yeah, I don't need vocal coaching, or I don't need this, I don't need that. You need it all. You never stop growing, you never stop evolving in this industry. And I just want to teach people how to do it the right way. Even though I'm not a music artist, I don't have a music background, but my brother does, and I've seen the struggles, and I've researched, and I've seen this, and there's so much good talent out there going to waste. They just give up because they don't know how to get to the audience. They don't know how to target their audience. They don't know how to monetize and make money from their music. They don't know what to do about merch. They don't know it's just so much, like so much. And I just want to, help people find a way.
They must feel very much lost in the sea of noise that's out there, because, we now do have the ability to, everyone can just put their music out there, and there's so much of it now. Like, you've only got to look at things like, Spotify, or, Apple Music, and all of these sorts of things. There's just so much, and for somebody to try and make waves, in that sea is, it must be quite a scary thing for them if they're young, especially, or very new to it, to actually to have someone coach them almost through that. I imagine would be very, very important for them if they're serious about it.
Yes, and a lot of people get caught in the chasing the tail thing for like years and years and years. 10 years. I hear people, I've been at this music thing for 10, 15 years, and this and that, I'm going to give up, and I haven't made any money, and I've wasted so much money, because people just don't know what to do. And the people that do know what to do, they don't want to tell you. It's like no one is telling anybody what to do. And I'm like, hello, I'll help you. Like, I know how you can actually make 6 figures from this. Like, let me help you.
I mean, I imagine a lot of that is because of the recording companies, and the big labels out there, because they, for many years, they controlled this industry very strictly, and
Yes.
unless you rub shoulders with the right people, you would never get your music anywhere heard. But the world has changed dramatically now, and indie
Right.
artists are becoming a
Yes.
big thing. And we'll probably see the death of the big record company labels probably within the next 10 years or so. So actually, I think the type of service you're offering is very, very highly relevant to getting people, making sure they don't make that kind of mistake to go down the record label company at the early stage. Maybe later, maybe that's an option, but at the beginning, do it yourself.
Puts you in debt. It puts you in debt. It looks great. The contracts look great. And then, you get yourself in there, and all these millions and millions of dollars in mansions is all the record labels. It's not yours. And a lot of people don't know exactly what that entails. And I'm very pro do it yourself, make yourself, and have them chasing you.
Yeah.
And then you set the record and you say, this is what I will take and what I won't take. So, you build your fan base.
Let's all take the Beyonce example here and just do it yourself, screw the record labels, and just if you're good, you'll be a success. And it's all about good PR, and it's about, being good at your art. And like you rightly say, actually, it's constant. You've got to constantly train. You've got to constantly.
No matter how good you are, you have not reached your fullest potential. There's always room for growth. You need to continue to exercise that. Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of how you're pitching this out to people, then, so who are you targeting? What kind of places are you starting to think about where you're going to target? These types of up and coming potential clients of yours?
Okay. So like I said, the first couple of clients I had were recommendations. So I haven't put myself out. I'm still working on my branding. I'm still finishing my website, have a photo shoot next week. And I still have connections that I have to put together before actually launching it. But I have been thinking a lot about, who I want to cater to. And this is going to be, it's not going to be one of those, you just pay the money and get in the program. Yeah. I am really, really, strong on getting clients that are a good fit and that are ideal clients to work with. Yes. So I'm targeting ideal clients. So if you don't fit that ideal clients, I can't work with you. Exactly. So it's kind of like, I want to say it would be kind of semi-coaching as well, in a way. You know how some coaches have okay, book a call with me. But that's my strategy. I was thinking of book a call with me. Let's talk. Let's see what your expectations are, how I can help you, and let's see if we're going to be a good fit for each other. So that's my call to action in my marketing, would be to book a call with me and kind of see from there.
And I think that's for the type of service you're offering, you're not going to want just any old person, you wouldn't want someone like me just because I like to sing in the shower comes you going, oh my God, I want to be the next pop star. Do it for me, because it's not that's not what you're looking for. And one thing I talk a lot to my clients about is understanding what your ideal client is, because you cannot be afraid to say no to people.
Yeah, you can't.
You must. If it doesn't fit, it's very much like with a lot of my consulting. There's a lot I say no to. People contact me, asking me all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. Normally, can you get me a 6-figure earnings by looking at my website? Right. And I'm like, no, because it's not realistic. Right. I don't have a magic wand, and if I could do it, I would have done it for myself by now, and I certainly wouldn't be sat here. But it's all about expectations. So having that just initial, and it doesn't even have to be long. It could just be 15, 20 minute, just quick call, just to actually ask. Right. Yeah. Who are they? Are they really good?
And one thing I forgot to mention. I'm sorry to cut you off while it's in my mind. I'm actually setting up a way to, before I even get on a call with them, to not waste time. I want to have them, the call to action wouldn't be the phone call first. I'm sorry, that's the second call to action. The first call to action would be for them to go through my funnel, fill out a form. And that form is, I'm going to be filtering out, kind of picking their brain, where they're at before I even get on a call with them. So if I can say, if they say, oh, I want to be the next hottest thing within 6 months, or I want to be a million, I want to see where their mind is first. And from there, I can see if, okay, this is someone I can work with, I can book a call with, and kind of see further. You know what I mean? Like, I can kind of pick their brain before talking to
Absolutely, because it's very personal what you're going to be doing. You're probably going to have to give some tough love to them. With certainly with what you said, it's rattling around my head. Someone going, "Oh, I don't need coaching." Like vocal coaching, I don't need it. I think you do. Everybody does. Even the best artists in the world do. And it's that kind of, if you're working with someone that's quite resistant like that, and after you just had that initial phone call with them, and they're quite, oh no,
they have to be coachable. They have to be coachable.
You've got to be able to draw the line straight away and go, good luck, but I'm not the right one. Okay, so you're going to have your form filter to begin with, which is a great idea. Then you're having you're booking your call. Once you've done that, how are you then pitching to them to procure your services going forward? Are you developing, because I know you said you've got a package kind of that you've put together. So what kind of structure are you dealing with this package? Is this like a one-off fee and boom, you get X amount of coaching for so long? Is this like a reoccurring thing? How have you structured
this is a program. I put it together as like a program. And like I said, I kind of still don't know what to call it yet, because it's that whole, like, I've created this thing, but I kind of want to say it's like a coaching program in a way. It's a coaching program. It's going to be 6 weeks long.
Okay.
So this is just level 1. I'm creating a level 2 for people that want to actually start making 6 figures and start a business with it. So this is just getting them on the professional pathway, this level 1, as far as the lessons, getting branding, getting their EPK, getting an exposure on the radio after they finish their first single, which they will do while they're in the program. And I'm kind of like coach thing. I'm actually have my engineer actually building beats for them. Like, they're getting the works. So from the ground up, they're building a single while they're in this program for 6 weeks. And at that 6 weeks, I'm going to show them how to launch successfully, their music. Because I have someone that's actually expertise in that on my that I've collaborated with, that will be taking that part and teaching them how to do it successfully from at the end of the program. So it's a 6-week program, and it's, like I said, it's level 1. So they would purchase level 1, and then later on in that level 1, I'm going to be offering some things to them included in the program that they can extend on if they want to. It's like vocal lessons. If they want to keep doing vocal lessons with me, that's something apart that they can keep doing on a monthly basis, a monthly retainer. The social media, the Instagram following growing. Like, I have an organic way that I'm teaching them, but I'm actually going to be implementing for them. And if that's something that they want to keep on with, they can purchase that additionally for months to go as well. But for the most part, it's just that level 1 program, 6 weeks long. So I'm pitching it as, I'm not coming off really salesy. I'm the type of person, like, I can make really good connections with people, pretty much anybody. So I want to kind of approach them as, I want to know what's in their mind. So I want them to tell me about them first. I don't want to just go in for the kill, like, okay, this is the program, this is how much it costs. Even though I'm a salesperson, I'm very personable with it. So I want them to tell me everything. I want to have them trust me and connect to me and tell me their deepest, darkest struggles and what's going on, this and that. So once I hook them with, resonating with them, kind of understanding where they are, they're like, wow, I just know how to connect with people. And they're just like, okay, wow. And then I can tell them, hey, I can help you, or I can't help you. And then we just kind of go from there. And then I kind of go into what I'm offering, not focus on every little thing I'm offering, but the end result. Like, this is what you're going to get at the end. This is what you're getting. And then, of course, tell them what's in it, and then, let them know the price. It is a little bit high-end price. I'm charging angel numbers, $4,444.
But you say that to be fair, the number doesn't really shock me particularly, because with everything they're getting, they're basically, what you're doing for them is taking them from it sounds awful, but a nobody that's got great music to having the potential to be somebody and get recognized in 6 weeks. I mean,
Yes.
it's like an intensive like education during that period of, excuse my French, but get your shit together
Yes.
and get on the path. And if you don't want to get on the path, that's
Yeah.
it. It's a if it was to be fair, if it was any less than that, I'd probably be like, you're giving away a lot for
Yes.
not a lot, but for a
There's a
beginner
lot of
package,
value.
that's enticing, and it's not out of the realms of what people could get their particularly their hands on in terms of cash. And hey, look, you're especially because you're in the LA kind of area as well. A lot of people come to that area seeking, stardom, let's say. So actually, this kind of thing, it probably fits pretty well. And I think price wise, you'll probably find, I reckon, after your first few clients, you'll probably end up putting your price up. Because
I'm pretty sure I will. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I will, because the value in here is,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy value. I mean, in 6 weeks, you're going from nobody to being on the radio. You're getting your music video. If you have a music video already, that's good quality. You're getting it on NTV or VH1 and this is not just a one-time run. This is it's a run for 30 days, and it's on all cable TV networks. All
Wow.
cable and satellite. So you're getting exposure, crazy exposure that you could never have just, I want to start something and get exposure. Like I said, like my vocal coach, her voice is freaking amazing. She sings R&B and opera.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. She is amazing. And I'm like, you could blow Beyonce out of the water and you're not anybody yet? Are you kidding me? Like, she could totally blow Beyonce out of the water. And she's been in this for 10 years.
Wow.
And she just doesn't, she teaches, but she's just like, like, that's it. And I'm like, whoa, like, girl.
Wow. And the thing is, well, people are sometimes just comfortable doing what they're doing. And, you see it a lot, especially in the music industry. Yeah. You've got some fantastic people,
Mm-hmm.
but all they do is teach. And you're like, oh my God, but we see it here, a lot in the UK when obviously theatre is a big thing here. And some of the singers are like jaw-droppingly incredible and can have the hairs on the back of your neck standing on end, and you're like, why are you here? Probably not earning a huge amount and not like a number one top-selling artist. But it's just the comfort zone. That's where people want to be. And some people just like that, but then you've got the others who are incredible, are getting zero exposure. But that's why people like you are around. Right. So there you go. And I think, you mentioned about, it's all about being personable, not hard sell, because I think, again, specifically with this industry, I think hard sell probably won't go down very well. And it is about that connection, especially because there's a lot of money that they're going to be parting with. They've got to know, and you've got to know, that whoever you're going to be working with, that's money well spent. And for you specifically, the danger is you've got to make sure you can try and get them to that end point. So have you kind of considered what happens if, they've paid you for this package, but hey, you get 4 weeks in and everything starts to fall apart? What's kind of your escape or, your recovery kind of strategy with those particular clients?
What I would do, and I have thought about that. Okay, so there are a lot of requirements that are required before the program starts. A lot of information, like I need you to submit all of your professional photos beforehand, things that are going to drag the program out, which I'm trying to nip in the bud. But you're always going to have those clients that are just not on time, that are just not going to turn in what they need to do, and it's going to prolong things. So with those particular clients, I'm going to let them know, hey, this is the length of the program. After this point, I will be more than happy to help you still get those end results, but we're going to have to schedule you in open slots where I can help you get yourself together. But I won't be like, okay, I got to hurry up and get that. No, because I've ended the program, the group, and I'm doing this in a group. It's not going to be one-on-one because it just takes too much time.
Yeah.
It's a group program.
Mm-hmm.
And after that program is done, at that point, I have to move on and do other things. So I'm going to have to schedule them in when I can, if that's once a couple times a month, whatever the case. That's what happens, when you're not on time. So I have to schedule them in when I can to get to the next thing, till they're done.
Yeah.
But that's my recovery for that.
I think that is the difficulty, because you kind of have to draw a line somewhere. And you might actually just want to consider that actually maybe at the 12-week point, that is the absolute line. If you've still not gone through the requirements and you're still not at that point where they should have been, then actually maybe at that point, that's when it's yes, you can have the additional service if you want, but there is a surcharge. Now, because now you're going to eat up time that I should be dedicating to my other clients.
That's so true.
6 weeks here. If you leave it as an open-ended book, people will take it, and they will you're going to get some clients that are just going to fall behind and behind and behind. And to be fair, do you know what? The only reason I say it's because I have it in my own industry where, I've got some long-standing clients, and they drag out the sessions and they drag them out, and hey, look, you've booked 10 sessions or whatever, but they're supposed to be done within like a matter of months, and now we're on, we're nearly a year and we're still not done. And because I'm a nice person, I don't like to just go, no, that's it, done.
I know,
because I want people to come back, but it does. I do have to be hard with people sometimes and just say, hey, look, here's a deadline. This is your last chance saloon. If you don't book it by this point, that's it, you lose it. And maybe you need to just have a think about there has to be a line there somewhere. Otherwise, I can foresee, because I imagine this is going to be quite labour intensive for you as well.
Yeah. A lot of moving pieces on my end.
Exactly. And what you don't want is those moving pieces from programs that were 12 weeks ago still moving over here. And you're then juggling so much because you should be on your next 6 weeks, students, let's say, and you're not, and because you're still messing around with 3 of them from the last group. Yeah,
I'm noting down as we talk. I need to make a cutoff time.
I think there has to be, and there's nothing to say that, because the fear there is people go, oh well, you're just going to take my $4,000, and at the end of it, I might not end up with anything. Well, potentially, but you'll always continue to help. But there just may be an additional charge for extra time after a certain number of weeks if you haven't completed everything. And at least it makes it transparent for people. And I think that's the real important piece. When you're doing any business, it's transparency is king. No one likes hidden terms and conditions. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't. So I definitely don't want to build my business model on that.
No, so just a little snippet.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I've got a really good understanding now of what it is that you're trying to do, and I'm sure as we talk more over the next few sessions, more and more and more will come out. But what I'm kind of keen to touch on, in our kind of our last 15 minutes or so, is what is your big struggle? What are you struggling with, and what do you really want from me to kind of help you with that?
I'm struggling with getting everything organized. I'm struggling with, like I said, I have so many moving pieces. Even now when I'm building it, it's just so much. And I feel like there's not enough time in the day for me to get to what I need to get to. And I feel like I'm spending time on things that are important, but I could put aside. I'm struggling with like prioritizing like myself in order to get the maximum of, amount done, like to, you know what I mean? So I feel like sometimes I've wasted a day doing things. I'm busy, but I feel like I should have been doing something else, and I just need to get organized. Number one. And number two, I had a really, really bad case of imposter syndrome last week, and I've had like 3 or 4 cases of it, but I'm so mindful of that, and I know that it's not true. So I've already programmed myself to look over it, but it does creep in when I'm on my low points. Like if I'm really tired or something, I'm like, who's going to buy this program for me? I'm not a music artist. No one's going to want to listen to me about music. And then I'm like, Star, I have to remind myself, there are so many artists that are praying for something like what I'm offering. They are praying for my services. They're praying for what I have to give. So that's not true. So I have to just get out my ego to shut up. And
hey, look, you've already had a couple of people that you had recommended to you, and I assume you've kind of taken them through pretty much the process. So you've got that should be giving you an element of confidence straight away. But hey, don't feel bad, because we all go through it. I've been there, and hundreds of other people are going through it all the time, because there is that fear. There's that fear of almost rejection, that, well, what if I've put all of my heart and soul into this and nobody buys? It's the same.
That's why I've been procrastinating.
Artists that are doing these recordings going, what if I poured my life into this and no one ever hears it? But people will, and it's about time. And if there's anything business has taught me, is time is the one you have to be patient with, because nothing happens like that. Not unless you've got millions of dollars to throw at something.
Right.
In which case, usually it's pretty superficial anyway, and normally doesn't last very long. This is about, you said it earlier, this is about building connection. This is about being personable, and about building your brand and your appearance to people. You'll naturally gain more and more confidence, and you'll suffer with that less and less as you start putting clients through. That first group that you're going to put through, you are going to be quaking in your heels. You just are. But once you've done it, that feeling is going to be like nothing else at the end of it, and that's what you hang on to. And that first group that you put through, you may have to twist some arms to get them through it. You may have to offer some discounts, or you may have to almost bribe people to kind of just go through it. But once you've got that first group, you've then got testimonials. You've then got success stories that actually you can then use as your marketing and your own promo. So make sure, in whatever strategy you've started to put together about that first group, that you actually make sure that you are building in some of your own personal marketing into that, in terms of, hey, look, when they get through the end, you want them on camera and you want them talking about their experience with your program. And that's part of the deal. Hey, look, maybe I give you X amount off, but at the end, I want to capture video, and I want us to have a little interview so that you can use it, later on, because it will be real. Nothing worse, and we probably see it all the time, all these fake videos of, I thought this product was amazing. You've probably never seen that product before in your life.
The fake ones.
You can tell a mile off, but these will be real. And making sure whilst you're going through some of these group sessions, I don't know if you're going to do them in person or whether you're planning on kind of doing it online.
No, it's all online. I'm building a complete online business with this.
Cool. Make sure you record it then. Make sure you capture it. Just because I've seen so many people kind of do these amazing things, and they haven't got anything at the end of it to kind of go back and show other people about, look how amazing and incredible this is. So do definitely make sure you do a lot of that, and that you make sure you get all the right permissions and things to be able to reuse their singles and things that they come out with, because hey, that's part of what you can offer as well. Hey, you'll be featured on the site when you pass through the kind of the course. It's good for you. It's good for them. All of these types of things, that all helps you with that level of confidence. I know I'm just giving you more and more things to think about, and more things.
No, but that's good. And it's things that I need to be thinking about, honestly.
It's just that future stuff. We get hung up with the now, and we forget about what we're going to do at the end, when we've got that success up and running, what we're going to do. In terms of trying to manage, all the stuff you've got going on, how are you managing that? What are you doing? Are you using some to-do lists? Are you just using Post-it notes? What is it that you're doing?
a little bit of all of that.
Everything.
I have some digital post-it notes that I'm horrible about digital
Okay.
on my computer. I have some spreadsheets. I have some to-do lists. It's just too much. And I just need to, like, I'm getting my CRM actually built right now. And I think I'm just going to start using that, you know, to log notes, to do this, to do that, you know, so I can have everything in one place. That'll help with saving time a little bit too. But yeah, other than that, I'm just really like, I'm not even sleeping at night. Like, I'm like, I literally wake up 2 hours after I go to sleep, like, oh my God, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do that. Oh my gosh, I gotta do that. Awful. It's so awful. It's bad.
Right. So it sounds like you need to do some consolidation, and you need to do a little bit of planning. Tell me just quickly before I go into some solutions. Tell me about a standard day of yours at the moment. What does a day look like? If I was to watch you for a day,
I'm too embarrassed to tell you.
Would it be complete and utter chaos?
It would be chaos. You'd be like, this girl has lost all of her marbles. Where are the screws that are holding her head on her shoulder? Obviously, it's not that bad. I don't think I'm that bad. But it would my day would look like waking up, you know, getting my kid off to school, getting back to my in-home office, and just starting what I think is the most important, because I'm actually running my brother through my program right now.
Great.
So I can actually tweak things and see, okay, this needs to be moved to this is that, this is that.
Perfect.
And this is the second week, and I've had to completely like rearrange some things in my program, which is what I wanted to do before I actually introduced it, which is amazing. So I'm working on him alongside trying to finish building everything I need with my branding, my content, the sites. I have my tech guy that I'm talking to all day, every day, along with graphic designers, and you know, just really like trying to get shit done, and I'm just like struggling with that.
Cool. Okay, so chaos. Then that's the that's the headline. Chaos. But hey, look, in these early days, it always is. You know, it is always complete and utter chaos. But chaos is not a bad thing, because chaos can actually oddly stimulate you into getting stuff done, even though you might not feel like you're actually doing it, because there's so much. And you know, I would tell you now, forever, whilst you run your own business, nothing will ever really feel like it gets done, because there's always more stuff. You'll tick 10 things off your to-do list and another 20 will suddenly appear out of thin air. That's just the nature of being in business for yourself. It helps when you start getting big enough to employ people. You can start shedding some of that, but then you just get a whole nother layer of different types of responsibilities. But it's about organizing it, and it's about doing something in a way that works for you. Do you like pen and paper? Are you someone that likes to write, or are you more of a techie kind of person? You prefer doing, you know, stuff?
I would like to I would like to move my things to a spreadsheet or something more organized, because this pen and paper deal is just it's just things that are written in little corners, and then here, then a line drawn to connect over. It's just
a bit of
really
string. Yeah. Okay. I hear you. So, okay. Everyone is different. Okay. And there is no win-all strategy for managing to-dos. In that side, everybody does things differently. However, over time, I've learned some really good strategies. One, it's a system that I use, which is a computer-based system, and it's called Trello. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
But it's incredible, and it's free, which makes it even more incredible.
Trello, Trello?
Yeah, I've to put troll, not Trello.
Oh.
Let me try that again. Trello.com. I've just put a link in the chat. So yeah, Trello.com. It's very, very simple, and it uses the methodology of pin boards with lists and then cards. So it's very much like the post-it note mentality, which tends to respond to people. I'm very visual. I need to see things to make it make sense to me. I don't do lists. If I see a list, I just gloss over and that's it. I'll go and just do something else. However, when it's a bit more visual and it's easy, I'm more likely to do it. And that's the thing I've struggled with in the past with to-do lists, like Wonderlist or Todoist or all of these types of things. They're too complicated, and they're just, it's all just words, and it's just, in the end, it stresses me out more managing those to-do lists than it does doing the stuff on them. So I tend to just ignore them after a while. However, Trello is something I've managed to use for several years now, about 3 years. Trello, basically, the way I set things up is a very simple methodology of stuff to do, stuff you are in the process of doing, stuff that is done, and stuff that is what I like to call pending. And when you call it pending, it's basically you're waiting on something else. So it could be you're waiting on someone, you're waiting for a certain time or something to occur before you can do anything with that. And that actually gives you then only 4 lists to manage, and you can start then putting your to-dos in them.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I like Trello is because you can actually you create different boards. So basically I have multiple pin boards with these 4 lists in, which have all of my little to-dos on. And I do that for different projects and different aspects of my business. So for example, someone like yourself who's just kicking off, you'll have a big project at the moment with your branding. You'll have a big project going on with your website. I mean, that must be enormous. Inside of that, you're dealing with all your designers and all of that kind of stuff. You'll probably then have another board really for, your brother who's basically being your guinea pig and taking you through. So it'll be about your business program. There'll be a whole board just for that about, as you notice something, you're like, that's not right. Okay, I need to remember to change that in my program. Bam, that's a to-do straight onto that board. So I tend to use that methodology to help me break down my to-dos into digestible chunks, so that it doesn't feel overwhelming, because that's the problem usually with to-do lists, is that there's so much on it. It's just totally overwhelming. And what you get then is the fear of even looking at it, because there's a million things on there that you've got to do. And actually, do you know what? I'm just going to go and read this magazine instead, because it's far more interesting, and that is scary as hell. And I do not want to go and look at it. So it's about, and that's why I liked this Trello, and it's available on every type of device, Android, Apple, Mac, PC. You can have it. It's web-based as well. You can have it anywhere. So literally, I've done exactly what you've done. I've woken up in the middle of the night and gone, oh my Lord, I need to remember to do this in the morning. Literally, I can just in a few seconds put it into Trello. Must remember to do that. Bam, done. Back to sleep again.
Right.
And that's why I like it, because it's super fast. There's no faff. You can make it as simple or as complex as you like. I even use it for when I have crazy ideas, and I call it my car park of crazy ideas. And whenever I think, do you know, that could be a service I could do, or that could be something I could offer, or a gig that I could put together, put it in Trello, bam. It's on a board, but it's on another board that I don't look at very often. But every now and again, when I'm feeling creative, I go to it and go, oh yeah, I had that great idea. I'm going to do that. So I was just taking a look and using this kind of, this style, the to-do, doing, done, pending, is called Kanban. And it's a style and methodology of task management. And it's very simplistic, but it works really, really well. And I have trained countless clients now on just doing this methodology, because the important thing about to-do list management and task management is, at the end of the week, or even the end of the day, you need to be able to get a sense of completion, which is the biggest problem small entrepreneurs like ourselves struggle with, because at the end of the day, that damn list still keeps growing.
Yes.
You never feel like you achieve. However, you've probably achieved a huge amount, but because there's so much more to do, you never feel like you get that sense of achievement. Whereas something like this, it's very visual. So having that done list is the most important list of all of them, because it shows you at the end of your day or the end of your week everything you've actually achieved. If you're feeling a bit glum about, oh my God, you can actually go over that list and go, wow, do you know what, this week I had a fantastic week. I really, really ticked off some stuff that was high priority.
Right.
And likewise on Trello, you can put labels on, so you can mark things as super important or stuff that's not really important. It's a nice to have. I might come to that at some point. So it's super easy to manage. And I would start getting yourself into a bit of a habit of, at the end of each day, just going through that done list and just read each one and go, yeah, do you know what? I've done all of that today. And then you can archive it. Doesn't delete it, it just makes that list disappear. And you know what? That's such a lovely feeling. You're like, tomorrow's a new day. I'm going to see how much I can do tomorrow. And I found it does it far more satisfying than, I used to be a pen and paper man, and all my things were just written lists of to-dos, to do. And even though you strike them through, you never really feel like you've done a lot, because you just screw that bit of paper up at the end of the day. It goes in the trash can and you move on, and you never you forget about it. It's done. What we'll probably talk about during our next session is some block timing and ways that you can strategize better and optimize your time. And I'll show you some other things that I've used. But kick off initially, homework for today is go and have a little look at Trello. It might not be your thing. You might look at it and go, don't really like it. Doesn't really, tick my boxes. But if it doesn't, that's fine. But the methodology is there of try and do this. It's called Kanban. I'll put that in the chat. The Kanban methodology really is a great, simple one to try and look into. If, say, Trello doesn't really work for you, go and have a little look at it, and maybe use some of your spreadsheets or however else you're kind of trying to do it to try and replicate something similar and see if that works for you. I hate spreadsheets, even though I have to use them all the time. They're not easy. They're not easy just to quickly pick up and go, oh yeah, I want to put that in there. They create faff. And I'm a non-faff person. I much rather have something straightforward, simple.
I like straightforward too. Yeah. So great.
Definitely give it a look for, not so much probably for your client-based stuff. Perhaps once that starts going, like your CRM probably is a far more suitable place for any kind of client stuff that you're managing. But in terms of your own business and what you need to do for your business, having something separate like this would probably serve you really, really well.
Okay. I have one more quick question before we end our call. Okay, I want to hire a VA to help me just, a few hours a week.
Yep.
How about this? I want to hire a VA to help me to take some of the stress off, but I don't have time to stop and train them on what I need done and how it needs to be done. I feel like I'd rather just run and chase my tail and do all this shenanigans and try to get through it than to stop and train, because that's just going to take a lot of time. So how do I handle that?
Okay. The important thing is, do you know exactly what you want that VA to do for you?
Yes.
Right. How many hours would it take you to teach them to do that?
Some of the stuff is kind of self-explanatory, like Google Sheet, like Google Forms.
Yeah.
Here's a list of questions, make a form out of it, like for requirements and things like that.
Yep.
Some of it's explanatory. Some stuff they would need to learn the CRM and once that's complete and go into it and all of that.
Okay. So put it this way, do you have enough right now to be able to, the simple stuff that's self-explanatory or is going to take you, let's say, less than 15 minutes to explain to someone how to do? Would you think you have enough just of that stuff to be able to shift to a VA? That's kind of what you need to think. So if you look at your list of all the stuff you want a VA to do for you, go through that list and mark off all the ones that you think you could explain in less than 15 minutes to a VA and see how many you have. And probably if you have at least 3 or 4, it's worth just hiring a VA, because to begin with, VAs can be hired by the hour. You don't have to commit to hours and hours and hours. And to start off, because actually that initial process anyway, you will take you a bit of time to find the right VA. They're not all good.
I
So,
have one in
yeah.
mind that I've worked with before, so I've kind of
Oh,
like
good.
helped. She's
Okay.
like golden, so I've got like stashed away,
Yeah.
hoping that she's available right now. I haven't reached
Okay.
out to her yet.
Cool. Well, I'd suggest your first point of call is just quickly reach out, see if she is free, and see if she'd just be willing to just maybe do 1 or 2 hours, whatever you think she might
Yeah.
be needing to do for you at the moment, and just pass some of that basic stuff over. Because in the grand scheme of things, if you can explain 3 or 4 things in 15 minutes, per item, that's an hour of your time. You could probably find an hour in your day. Especially when you start organising yourself properly and start being so chaotic, you'll probably find you'll have a lot more time because you'll be much more structured.
Yeah.
Plus, it will pay dividends in the future for you, because if you can pass those tasks, especially if they're repetitive tasks,
Yeah, they are.
to a VA, oh my God, it's going to save you hours. It's worth that initial upfront investment. You can add more complicated things later on as she becomes more and more familiar with your business. Just start small. Don't go straight in with I've got a million things that I need you to do, because it just won't work, and she'll freak out, you'll freak out, and it'll all just end in tears. So go through that list. Make sure you've got enough to be able to even warrant pushing some simple stuff over, and then just have a chat with her and say, look, you willing to do some of this stuff for me to take a bit of pressure off? Because when you actually do that and you do some delegation, wow, you will feel instantly a bit of weight is off of these. And you will, so it'll be worth it. And I know you said you haven't got time to explain it. Find a bit of time, because the reward for you is less stress on this.
I can do an hour. I can totally dedicate an hour.
Yeah. So there you go. There's another little task for you. Let's see if you can shift some of your repetitive stuff onto a VA.
Yes.
Okay, so you're most welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Same here.
You've obviously got 4 sessions. Now, obviously, it is a 4-week program. However, it doesn't have to be 4 weeks. So if you need them quicker, that's absolutely fine. Basically, you've got 4 sessions of 45 minutes. You can do them as you please. You can book them as often as you need, or you can have them out, on a weekly basis. It's entirely up to you. If you plan to have it, this time next week, but actually something happens and you're like, oh my God, I need to talk to you about this, or I need some advice. Then hey, we can always move them. You can always rebook, or we can bring a session forward. That's cool. I'm totally flexible with that. In the end of the day, I'm here to help you, and I'll try and be here when you need me. My diary is usually pretty available. I do have lots of different gaps here and there. Some days not so much, but you should always be able to find a space. And if you can't, you can always just drop me a message and just be like, Jamie, hey, look, I really need to speak to you, but I can't find a space. And I'm sure I could probably make a space for you at some point. So,
okay.
Anything else before we depart?
I did, I think on the, I don't know if you're still offering this, but I think I read on, when I signed up for your coaching, that you said something about you would have a Slack group. I have a Slack app.
So I do have a Slack group, but I've kind of stopped offering it because it kind of died to death. It was just me talking a lot, and there was a few people engaging, but not enough to really make it really
okay.
So, but I've still got it. It's still there. And hey, if people, something odd has happened over summer, everyone's gone quiet. Everyone's just shut down and blinkers on everywhere. This whole kind of industry, everyone seems to just being off enjoying this year's summer. However, this time of year it starts to get super, super busy. So if it does pick back up again, then by all means I'll sling you an invite. And also, I've nearly forgot, you wanted me to sign an NDA for you.
Oh my goodness, I totally forgot about that. Yeah. Well, I mean,
do you want to just email it across to me? Is it just a digital signature?
Yeah. I have to get it together. I totally forgot about that. I'm so sorry. We don't really have to do it, do we? Is that something we have to do, or do I have to?
You don't have to. However, I always recommend that it's for your protection. Not that I'm ever going to do anything, because I'm not. However, likewise, it's for your protection, and it's good practice for you to get
True.
into, because actually what you're selling is a really great idea. And hey, it does rely heavily on you anyway, because it's you that's got the contacts. It's not something particularly that someone could go and replicate. But what you don't want to do
They
is
would
someone
have to have that contact. Yeah.
Exactly. But what you wouldn't want to do is someone to steal your program and the way you're going to structure it and do it. So I would get into a good habit of get yourself a good NDA together, and people that you are, like your VA, when you appoint your VA, they must sign an NDA, because they're going to be privy to eventually a lot of personal information. Got to make sure that they've signed that. You don't want them leaking anything. It's good practice. So you don't have to do it right now, but I would suggest that over our kind of course of 4 sessions, get your NDA together and get it over. If I have a standard NDA that I do use with clients when they don't have them, so if you need me to do it and send one across to you, that's absolutely fine. I can do that. However, it's usually better if it comes from you, especially with your type of business. I've put my email in the chat box, so if you need to ping it across to me by email, feel free to pop it in via that.
Okay, this is my first time actually using Zoom, and I do plan to use it in my program when doing the group call. Is the chat still gonna be here when we disconnect the call, or does it go away?
If you were to leave the call, then it will stay here. And I think you can save it. So you can save everything in the chat. I don't know if it says it on yours, but on mine, next to where it says to everyone, I've got a more box.
Got it.
Save the chat. If you're going to use, I love Zoom. I think it's amazing. I used to use Skype, but Skype is rubbish, and it just drops out all the time. It's so temperamental. So I switched to Zoom, and it's incredible. I wouldn't switch to anything else now. It's a great, and it's super easy to schedule stuff with this. So it's a great tool if you're looking to use it.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, great. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've thoroughly enjoyed our session, and I look forward to speaking to you again. You can reuse that same link that I sent to you the other day to book your appointment. So feel free just to use that link when you're ready to schedule. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. You've been so amazing. You're welcome. I feel a little bit better already. Good. Well, that's good. At least I know my job has begun well. Let's say that. So we'll have a great week, and I will speak to you soon. Okay. Thank you, Jamie. No worries. Take care. All right. Bye-bye.